What's up, guys? I'm Uncle Freedom, coming to you on a glorious and well-deserved day before I go to work tonight. It is Friday, October 4th. As I film this, I'll be serving the good people of my town here in about 2 hours. But I've been getting ready all day for something we do on Sundays where I'm from, and that is an open department range day. Basically, I have officers from pretty much anywhere that wants to come. They show up and we do some shooting. We'll pick a skill set, we'll work that skill set, and we'll actually take something away from the range time that we do. Kind of like Mil-Spec Mojo does with his guys, cold start drills for the month. We do it every week. We have a good time. And people walk away from it learning stuff because, after all, we should all want to be better all the time. But that led me to this video, which is how do you get the most out of your range trip? And it's not just a matter of like the most knowledge, right? Because going to the range requires time, gas, ammo. We are tying up a pretty substantial amount of resources into going to the range. From targets to ammunition to the firearms themselves to batteries to just the time to go, right? And the time is the one thing we can't get more of. So time and money. Time and money is what range trips are really about. We're about balancing the two, right? We want to be able to maximize the time that we do have on the range, and we want to get the most out of our money and our ammunition because that stuff can be at the whim of politicians, and we can see a problem much the same way we're seeing a problem right now as I do this video with toilet paper, because apparently that's shipped in from overseas through the ports. It's all made in America. Stop doing that. Don't panic buy. Just stop. But the time is the one thing that we cannot actually get more of, right? We can buy more ammo, we can buy cooler guns and toys and more targets, but we cannot replace the time that we're going to use on the range. And with our dollar going about as far as I can throw your average politician, it's more important than ever that we get the most out of our combination of time and money when we go to the range. So I'm going to give you my top 10 points for getting the most out of your time and money on the range, with a few bonus points in Uncle Freedom fashion. Number one is to plan your range session. You have got to pick drills and plan out your range trips. Things like planning to work on reloads after you run through your first few drills so that you have those empty magazines that are ready to go. And it will allow you to focus that raccoon on Rippett's brain part that says to mag dump into the trash and actually achieve good things on the range while we're there. So number one, plan your range session. Number two, pick out and take only a couple of firearms and a spare for your main. This cuts down on the logistics issue, one, because we have to carry all this stuff to the range, plus the stuff to maintenance and feed those things, and then get them from our car onto the range bay where we're at, and then get them back into the car, and then back to our house, and then back out of the car, and all this other fun stuff. But it also limits the time that we spend figuring out what to do next, right? We've all done this as range people. We go to the range with 1,000 rounds of ammo, and we got half a dozen guns with us. 4 of the 6 guns never get fired, and we wasted 2 hours trying to decide what cool drill we were going to do next. Limit the amount of stuff, right? Take only a couple of firearms that you're going to take. So I will show you something that I will typically do. So this is a condition 1 case. This is the model 179, but this is one of theirs that has their cut foam in it. So this is kind of what I'll take here. And this gives me 3 handguns and 24 magazines for my handguns. In here I've got one of my Glock 45s. I've got the Shadow Systems XR920 Foundation series. The stuff that I am working on and testing at the range is what I will take with me, and then I will usually take a single rifle so that I can work on some rifle stuff if I find the time. So always kind of only take a few, couple of items with you to work on, because you're going to spend some time, because you got to touch all of the options before you decide what to do next. It's just how it works. Number 3, refill your stapler. I don't know who needs to hear this out there, and refill your stapler. You don't have enough staples in it. You didn't refill it last time. It's nothing sucks more than walking down range after you have finally gotten old Fred over here to cease fire for just a minute with his 1 round per second firing to do what he's doing, only to walk all the way down to your backer and go to staple your target and have to walk all the way back and get staples because your stapler didn't get refilled. So refill your stapler, guys. Number 4, check out your kit the night before. Don't do it the day of, right? Don't do it on the range. Check out your kit the night before. And what do I mean? How are your batteries, right? Is your gun still as dry as the Sahara? Does it have dust bunnies bigger than the stuff you get out of your dryer because it's your CCW piece and you just don't clean it, bro? Did you slightly expand that belt because you got an unhealthy obsession with Twinkies, right? Like, you don't want to get to the range, go to put your range belt on, and it doesn't squaz around your giant ass. Take a minute, size your gear out before you go, lube your gun up, check your batteries, and then go to the range, right? Don't waste your time on the range doing all this incidental crap you could have done before you got there. Number 5, take a minute and go through your range bag. And I really mean go through it. I mean, open your range back up, pull your stuff out of it, make sure of what you got the night before. Don't do it at the range because you'll get there and be like, oh crap, I don't have any of this, right? Go through your stuff before you go. Do you actually have what you need? Batteries, tape, oil, shot timers, IFAK. Make sure those items are already in your bag. Number 6, if you have weird stuff that is beyond important, like, do you have that weird stuff? What do I mean by weird stuff? Goodies, powders, anti-diarrhea medication, because you jammed up inside of a porta potty when it's 105 degrees outside trying to squeeze out last night's taco night with the wasp nest flying around the inside of that thing by your head. Take some freaking meds with you, man. Like, eye drops, stuff like that. Like, have this stuff with you in your bag. I have a little zipper pouch in mine that's just got like some anti-diarrhea, some Pepto, some heartburn medication, some goodies powder, some ibuprofen, some eye drops. Take that with you, right? Have your little boo-boo Band-Aid stuff in there, because here's the thing, nothing's going to suck worse than you taking all this time and doing this prep work to get out to the range, show up on the range, and 5 minutes after you get there, you realize that breakfast burrito was a terrible decision, and you're about to go visit the wasp nest and the 4 or 5 snakes that are hiding in your porta potty. Or even worse, you're just leaning up against a tree. Number 7, and this is probably one of the most important tips I have ever been able to give anyone. Load your mags the night before. Nothing will kill more time on the range than loading your mags. Holy crap, right? You think about it, like, even if we have speed loaders and we're loading 29 round mags, this takes a minute, right? If we're out there and we're playing around with, we've got our CR920 out there and we're trying to load up our little 15 round mags for our CR920, or trying to load up a bunch of 17 round mags for our Glocks. That eats up so much time, and it's time that you could have just not wasted, because you saw my case, right? There are 14 additional mags that are not a part of the 3 per gun, right? Those just get loaded up with ammo, and when I get there, I pull them out and put them in my stuff, and I start doing work, right? You will waste a ton of time on the range just loading your magazines, so load your mags the night before while you watch TV or play with your kiddos. Cram your mags, go to the range. Now next, go through your target book and double check that the targets that you need are actually in your book. So I said target book. This is my target book. This is a 3-ring binder full of different qualifications and then just drill targets, right? I've got circles in here. I've got the Sage Dynamics cadence standards. I have other cadence targets in here. I have the Bear Solutions cadence standards. I have the B8s, right? What I have in here is I have page protectors and then my printed targets, and I just load these guys up. I shoot a lot of B8s, so I have just stacks of B8s in here. I've got concealed carry, just circles. I have squares. I have fast drill targets, right? I have a ton of different targets and options, and I keep them all in this binder. And when I go to the range, that's what I use, because I planned my range trip out ahead of time. I knew what targets I was going to need. I knew the course of fire I wanted to run. And then I go out and I do what I needed to do because I did things like refilled my stapler the night before. I made sure my range bag had the stuff I needed in it. I made sure I had the targets I had to have, and I had my, my stuff. But in addition, a little tidbit here. When you load your mags, and something I have found myself doing, I will always load all the mags with the ammo I am planning to shoot, right? If you take an extra 300 rounds of ammo in boxes, you're going to shoot that ammo, right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to shoot badly at some point and you're not going to want to leave on a sour note. So you're going to burn 300 rounds, either creating new bad habits or missing a whole lot more and feeling worse about it because now you've wasted a bunch of ammo. So what I will do is I will load my mags for typically what I'm planning to shoot, and then I will throw somewhere around 50 to 100 rounds of 5.56 in my bag and another 50 round box of pistol in my bag. And then I take that's my stopgap of I'm having a good time, or maybe I find myself needing an extra few runs on a drill. Number 9, always keep a deck of cards and a package of 3x5 index cards in your range bag. You guys have seen me do it a lot, the 5x5 drill, the 5.75 drill, which is 5 yards, 7 rounds, 5 seconds or less into a playing card. You can take the 3x5 cards and run cadence drills on them at 3, 5, 7, 15 yards. You can create like little head boxes for a fast drill by using that. Like, those two things can get you shooting so many crazy different drills for speed and cadence and accuracy. Because here's the thing, it's a very small target. You have to be precise when you shoot. So it's going to force you to shoot better. Even if you have just big targets, tacking up some 3x5 cards and some playing cards on the thing, now you have a smaller, more refined sight picture that you have to do. You'll get more out of your range session. Because if you're burning it all down and you're hitting everything at 7 yards, back up to 25 and start shooting playing cards. I guarantee you leave with a failure that you have to work on for the next time, and that's kind of what you want. Number 10, stage your gear. Like, stage your gear by the door, or if you have a secured area in which you're keeping your vehicle, not your guns. Don't store your guns in the car, but take your range bag out. Already have that stuff in the car. And like for me, I have to travel with camera cases and tripods and stuff because I'm filming crap for you guys or what have you. So have that stuff that's not super, especially only if you can secure your car. If you can't secure your car, stage your stuff by your door so that you can literally get up, grab your stuff, walk out, put it in the car and leave and go to the range. Because if you don't do that and you don't plan for the night before and you don't load your mags, you are now, just look at the time suck if we don't do these things. You left and went to the range with no plan, but you had none of your stuff checked out, so you're missing equipment. Your gear wasn't staged, so you spent 20 minutes getting your stuff together before you left. Then you spent 40 minutes at the range loading your magazines because you didn't have it. You realize like now you got to go to the bathroom and you've got diarrhea, but you didn't have any antidiarrheals because you didn't take a second to figure that out. Now your shot timer battery's dead because, well, you didn't check to make sure you had that in your bag. And then your red dot dies. You've effectively destroyed your range day before it ever started. And that's what these tips are about. Don't destroy your range day. Do a little work on the beginning. Bonus point number 1. Start every single range trip you go to with an accuracy for standards drill. The reason I say that, like I will typically do a cold start right away. One that I have been doing a lot lately is this guy. This is actually my cold start. You draw, fire 1 round into this tiny triangle, then 2 rounds into the smaller circle, 3 rounds into this half of the big circle, slide lock, reload, 3 rounds, 2 rounds, 1 round again. That's my cold start. I'll do that when I go to the range. It's what I've been using recently. Then I will do an accuracy standards drill. I like using part of Kyle Lamb's stuff from VTAC. Dirty Civilian actually covered this with him. It's an excellent video. I've been doing a variant of it for years. It's actually pretty cool. And I'll take 4 B8s and I'll start off top B8, 10 rounds, slow fire, no time limit, just 10 rounds, right? I want the highest score I can get. And you're going to score all of these. And then I'm going to go strong hand only for 10 rounds. And then I'm going to go weak support hand only for 10 rounds into the next target. And then I'm going to go rapid fire into the bottom target. I'm going to do all of this from 10 to 15 yards, depending on how I feel that day. I'm going to add my scores up, and that's my baseline for accuracy starting my day, right? I always like to do it because accuracy is the most important metric. Again, nobody cares how fast you are if you don't hit what you're aiming at. It behooves us to work on accuracy and precision more than it behooves us to work on speed. Because if you do accuracy and precision and with a shot timer to give you a metric, you will naturally progress faster because you will become better at seeing your sights, getting your sights where you need to be. You'll understand acceptable sight pictures and you'll get a lot further. Bonus point number 2, and this is super important, you need to listen. Everyone can have a bad day on the range. Everybody can have a day on the range which you can't hit anything, or your shots are just off, or your reloads. I posted a video of just a total fumbled reload I had, and then I showed the target, and I'm like, dude, like I did not have a good day shooting, man. I wasn't accurate like I typically am. My split times were off. It wasn't working, but it's still better than the absolute best day I was ever going to have at work, right? Remember that, because if we get sucked into, man, it sucks. I shot 100 rounds. I didn't do anything I wanted to. You're looking at the wrong metric. You got outside. You're more familiar with your equipment. You were actually trying to train and do something. And those failures are going to force you to work harder the next time because you remember those failures, right? The worst day on the range is better than the best day at work. So make the most of it when you go and don't be too down on yourself. Bonus point number 3, do not get discouraged if your bad day exists. Don't get discouraged. If you don't fail, you never grow. That is just a fact and reality in life. Why are you sore after a good workout? You're sore after a good workout because you tore muscles and you worked them to muscular failure. What happens when you do that? It forces your body to grow those muscles, right? We don't grow as shooters or anything in this world unless we find failure points, because if you never fail, you never grow. That's why I tell you all the time, if you've never lost a fight, you've never been in a real fight. And last, very important last point, keep a journal of your scores and your times for drills. That can ensure that you track your process, right? I've talked about this before. We have accuracy, precision, and speed, right? Accuracy and precision and speed are a sliding scale. If I need to be super precise, I'm never going to be super speedy about it. If I can get fast accuracy, I can get super slow precision. But the only way we know all those things is we need a target that allows us to score what we're doing. And more importantly, that target needs to create good habits. If you're just shooting on the FBIQ target, like the big Coke bottle thing, and it's everything in the target is a good hit, that's not a good hit, right? That's where things like those 3x5 cards come in handy. Because if all you got's that big Q, put a couple 3x5 cards right here in the chest, maybe one across the forehead. Now you have very precise aiming points in order for you to get better at your skills. Score yourself on your metrics for that. And more importantly, keep track of your times. You will notice that as we practice and train these things, your times will improve, you'll become faster, and you'll be more accurate all at the same time. So keep a journal. Remember, nobody has ever benched 315 pounds the first time they lifted, right? It's never happened. And nobody has ever become amazing at guitar overnight, and nobody's woke up and become a GM shooter the next day. It doesn't happen. It's a skill, and you will get out of this skill what you put into that skill. Those rough days when you don't feel like going to the gym, you get more out of those workouts than any day that you felt like $1 million going to do it. When your fingers hurt and are raw from playing guitar, you will become a better guitar player because now you can do this faster. Same thing with shooting, right? This is all a muscle and a skill set. And the more we work that skill set and the more we track it, the better you will become. You will only ever get out of this what you put into it. Nobody's giving you crap for free, man. Shooting is an individual sport. There's no free ride in it. You're not going to wake up and be amazing. You have to go put in the time, the effort, the ammo, and the dirt and the dry fire time in order to become better at this than you were the day before. So remember, you'll only get out of it what you put into it. So go out and put some stuff into it, because after all, this is fun, right? This is a great time. So guys, there you go. My top 10 tips for how to get the most out of your time and money when we do these range trips, along with some few bonus points that we have. Probably one of my favorite things I've ever done for myself is my target book. If you're hunting for great targets out there, shoot me an email. I will send you links to great targets that you can go and print off, right? Something as simple as having circles, 5-inch circles for you to shoot at, or B8s. It can be amazing. It can do a ton for your training. So, guys, I am Uncle Freedom. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And until next time, I'll see you later.